I'm Megan Miller from Biddy Foods. We make delicious, eco-friendly superfoods for the future. So we are facing a really big problem. By the year 2050, there's going to be an extra 2 billion people on Earth. You've probably heard the statistics. We're going to have to scale our food production by about 70% to feed the next 2 billion people on the planet. And there are a lot of smart people working on this problem. In Silicon Valley, there are people using synthetic biology to engineer yeast to produce milk protein, or like this fellow, make stem cell-based burgers. And in fact, alternative proteins will comprise a full third of the entire protein market in the world by 2050. But at Biddy, we're doing something different. What we are doing is harnessing a powerful bioconversion process that will turn any organic plant material into a high-protein ingredient that we use in our consumer products. So, what is this natural bioconversion process? We are using tiny protein machines called crickets. I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here, but honestly, crickets are the most efficient converter of protein that we have on planet Earth. There are lots of things that we can do in a lab to make protein for the next 2 billion people, but edible insects comprise the largest biomass of protein on the planet, and they already exist here today. And all we need to do is find ways to remove the visual barrier and come up with ingredients that we can infuse in the foods we already eat and make them more familiar to people. So obviously there are other organisms that can also convert cellulose to protein, right? That's what any cow or pig or chicken does, but crickets do it much more efficiently using about one tiny fraction of the 2,500 gallons of water that it takes to make a pound of beef. So this is our main ingredient right now. This is cricket flour, and that is exactly what it sounds like. It's dry roasted crickets that have been milled into a powder, and it actually contains twice the protein of beef, 1.5 times the protein or the iron of spinach, and about 18% healthy fats, which come from omega-3 fatty acids. And the chitin, the shell of the cricket, is a very interesting source of fiber that is really good for your digestive health, and it improves the quality of your gut microbiome. So people might say that Americans are not ready for crickets yet, but obviously there's the case of sushi, right? In 30 years, we went from gross, Americans don't eat raw fish, to exotic niche product, to available in every strip mall. And now, with the speed of the internet, things are accelerating much, much faster. Food is culture, culture changes, and it's changing right now. Since we launched in 2014, we've already seen a huge growth in this industry in the United States. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the product that I think is going to bring crickets to mainstream America, Churritos. And you can come down in the demo pit and give them a try. These actually aren't the first product we launched. We also make a baking flour. We also make cookies. But we spent about a year on R&D to develop a product that was going to be super low cost and accessible. They retail for $1.49, and they're made from lentils and crickets, and they're spiced and branded to give you the feeling of Mexico, a place that eats crickets all the time. So each 128-calorie serving is packed with nutrition, low in fat, high in protein, and full of iron as well. And they're super tasty. Come and try them. You don't have to take it from me. So we've already got a ton of traction in the market. We're in UNFI, the nation's largest natural food distributor. We're in about 200 retailers. We're also on Amazon. And we've seen 100% sales growth in our first 4 weeks. We just recently launched these. And we've sold about 35,000 units to corporate micro kitchens like Google and Riot Games. So our next milestones are to expand Churritos distribution to the US and internationally. We're also selling them in places like Asia where we don't have to change culture because they're already a part of the diet in those places. And we're building a sustainable, vertically integrated supply chain by working with farmers, especially in the Central Valley, places that are stricken by drought because crickets hardly take any water to grow. We can give them an additional source of revenue on their farms. And we're developing a pipeline of food ingredients to sell to corporate manufacturing partners. So we have already mostly closed our seed round. We're raising $1.5 million. We already closed 1.2, and we have a small tranche of money available. And I would love to speak with angels who might be interested in joining us in creating the future of protein. So thank you.
All right, nice job. So we have time for one question. That was way over. So go ahead, Christoph.
So you can't go after vegans or vegetarians who often look for sources of protein. Who's your target customer?
Well, first of all, we've been very interested to see the number of vegetarians who are willing to give this a try because it's very low on the food chain. We are very humanely harvesting the crickets, and a lot of people are willing to give it a try. But the markets that we're finding to be our early adopters are a lot of millennials, tech workers, people who are interested in emerging food trends, and people interested in outdoor sports. We get a lot of traction from people who want to take it with them for hiking or cycling and use it as a recovery food.
Would love to talk more after, but what do you think wins here for Biddy to win, to prevent a Nabisco or somebody else from doing this? How do you set yourself up to be the leader in producing cricket-based foods?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there are a lot of big companies like that who are taking a look at this industry, but I think that what is actually more possible is that they will look to the supply chain that we've already created, the IP that we've already created in terms of our ingredient pipeline, and want to partner with us rather than do it all over again themselves.
Great. Thank you, Biddy.